Episodic anime and really episodic shows in general have not been something that I've really been able to get into over the past, well, actually, all of my life. Episodic anime to me feel, there's not really anything on the line, so I have a really hard time getting into them. Nothing can happen in one episode that will affect a character later on. And that's why I think I find it hard to follow a narrative when it comes to episodic anime and episodic shows in general. I mean, really the only episodic shows that I've ever been able to, actually binge and watch all of is Family Guy and American Dad. And that's mainly because I love everything that Seth MacFarlane puts out. So, excluding those, there is one show that I've watched recently that is absolutely the perfect example of a 10 out of 10 episodic show, and that show is Space Dandy. Now, Space Dandy, while being a episodic anime, still manages to make its plot actually interesting and manages to capture the viewer's interest throughout the entire episode. I, when watching this show, fell in love with trying to figure out how they were going to solve their problems each and every single episode. It was really that addicting. And on top of it being really, really interesting and really, really intense each and every single episode, trying to figure out their problems, it is absolutely laugh out loud funny. Space Dandy is one of the funniest anime I have ever watched in my entire anime viewing history. It's it's an addiction. You just want to keep clicking next episode. That's the kind of vibe Space Dandy gives me. It gives me that, like I said before in the beginning of the video, that Family Guy feeling. I want to just keep clicking next episode. I need more. I need more. Now, Space Dandy is, it's a weird one. It's definitely a weird one, but I will say this, it's not weird in the same sense as the Monogatari series, maybe even a Fooly Cooly or Serial Experiments Lane. You're not going to go into it and just be weirded out and, maybe creeped out and be put off by the anime. No. Space Dandy is weird like the director took a bunch of psychedelics and then, sat down in front of a forest and looked through a kaleidoscope, and that is how each and every single episode is written. I mean, you cannot predict what is going to happen each and every single episode. I mean, I went into this show kind of just expecting a comedy episodic space anime, and I don't know what I was expecting from the first episode, but the first episode, they literally just go to a strip club / kind of like Hooters location, and that's how the two first characters meet. So, if that says anything about the weirdness of this show, then you better buckle your seatbelt because it gets 10 times weirder each and every single episode. You cannot predict what is going to happen in any of the episodes. I mean, you literally cannot predict it whatsoever. Now, the characters are, well, they're just as weird, but they fit the plot and they fit the vibe of this show absolutely perfectly. Our main character, Dandy, is kind of, what's the word? Like a greaser. He's a greaser. I think that's the correct terminology. He's a greaser. He looks like he'd be in a 70s motorcycle gang, and he fits the main character role absolutely perfectly. I mean, he is hilarious, and throughout the show, you really see how much time and effort the authors really put into giving these characters their different and unique personalities, and I think Dandy is done perfectly. Then you have Meow, who is like a sentient cat, or I think sentient's the right word. But he's hilarious, too. I mean, he fits Dandy, he plays off Dandy really, really well. And then you have their robot, QT, I believe that's his name, and he is hilarious. Probably my favorite character in the show. Very, very sarcastic, dry humor from QT, and it works perfectly with the other two and their weirdness and their, randomness. That QT really fits the plot. I think the characters do a great job of playing off the weirdness of the show and making it really, really funny and entertaining and addicting to watch. Now, the places they go in each and every single episode, like I said before earlier in this video, it literally feels like the directors took a bunch of drugs and looked through a kaleidoscope at random stuff, right? And then they just drew what they saw. That's how it feels when it comes to looking at, you know, the different types of alien species that they encounter, the different types of planets they travel to, the different types of, you know, settings they find themselves in throughout the story. And I think that really adds to, you know, the uniqueness. It gives the show its charm. It's really just a ginormous galaxy of the most random planets, the most random species that you've ever seen. Now, I remember around almost a year ago now, I talked about how Black Lagoon was a timeless anime, and Space Dandy has that exact same feeling. It feels timeless. It feels like it will age absolutely like fine wine. It's going to age so well. I mean, the comedy in it, and I think comedy in anime is something that doesn't age well. I mean, something like Lucky Star was super popular back in the day, but I feel like not a lot of people will really mesh with that kind of comedy nowadays. But Space Dandy, it has that feeling that it is going to stand the tests of time. I feel like the comedy in it is going to... It's going to last, you know? It feels really like it's something special, and I highly recommend you watch it, especially if you're a sci-fi fan, because, as the title says, Space Dandy is a sci-fi fan's fever dream. But that is going to do it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed, please, first of all, watch Space Dandy. But if you enjoyed, please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, letting me know your thoughts and opinions on Space Dandy, as I'd love to hear them, and I will try to get back and respond to every comment that I possibly can. But make sure to subscribe. We are nearing close to 1,000 subscribers. We're around 700 something. When I hit 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing a manga collection video for 1,000 subscribers, so if you're interested in that, please make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications so you never miss another upload. But with that being said, as always, thanks for watching. Peace.